Welcome to the Church of the Week program on AM 630, The Word. Each week, we highlight a different local church or ministry impacting our community. Now let's welcome our Church of the Week host, Chad Schapiro, and today's guest.
Hey everybody, this is Chad Schapiro. Thankfully to be here with you on Church of the Week. It's up from AM 630, The Word, and KSLR.com. I get a chance to work with Texas Baptist and Pastor Strong Initiative. And one of the blessings that we have is doing Church of the Week here. We have Pastor Ryan Gilbert from First Baptist Universal City.
Hey, Chad.
My brother, glad that you are here.
Glad
a shout
to be
out
here.
to our sponsor, Let Us Unite 2025. Big event happening Memorial Day Park. Unite SA. You can learn more about them. But I talked to Pastor Lindo, and he was like, get Pastor Ryan on the air, and this is going to be the big reveal. I know it's not a big reveal to everybody at Universal City.
My tens and tens of followers.
Tens of thousands around the world that are watching all over San Antonio that have been just waiting to hear what is Pastor Lindo going to do. And man, you guys have been doing such a beautiful transition. And I know many people already know Pastor Gilbert. He's been already showing up at places, loving on everybody. Thank you, brother.
Sure.
But this might be new for some that are getting a chance to meet you. Tell a little bit about yourself and your family, and then we'll go into the church and things like that.
Yes. So I have a wife. I met in the marching band in college. That's where I met Lauren.
Cool.
And we have 4 kiddos, 11, 6, 4, and 1. We've had as many as 5 dogs, 2 cats. I won't even go into more. 4 chickens at one point, at least back in Arlington. Yeah. And we met TC. We both study music. I'm a trumpet player. She's a flute player. Been in ministry now for about 15 years. About 10 of that as a lead pastor in Kansas City, Arlington, and now here. I'm new to San Antonio, but we do have family. Both of us actually have some extended family live here. So we're new, but we love the area. Love it so far.
Man,
love
you're
it,
so
love it.
great.
Yeah.
So, Linda over there, you've been getting comfortable. Do you have your own discs?
So
disc golf?
Sort of, yes. He gifted me some gifts, but I will tell you, I don't know if you noticed, we did a Q&A last night for our church after Easter, and I brought a golf club. And we have this ongoing feud about which golf is better. I call it real golf, and I pretend like I'm a big golfer. I haven't played in years, brother, but I pretend like I'm. You know, I did play tournaments growing up. Anyway,
he's for real then.
Well, I never did well, but. No, it's a lot a fun. It's funny because I'm the millennial, and he's the 60-plus-year-old, and yet he's into disc golf. Yeah.
Man, I love Pastor Lindo.
He's really great.
Such a blessing. And so you, man, we're so grateful that God brought you here to San Antonio.
Me too.
Our city is just, I feel like God is just ready to do something new and amazing. He's already been doing such a great work here, and your church has been a pillar of our community for so long. Maybe tell us a little bit about your church itself. For those people that maybe don't know, This is one of our great churches in the San Antonio and vicinity and the area beyond. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so First Baptist, I've been there 5 months, but I learned a lot.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, I didn't know it existed about a year ago.
Right.
I didn't know Universal City existed, but because we're from North Texas. But yes, I've learned a lot about it. It's a wonderful, wonderful church that loves the Word of God, loves the gospel, loves missions in particular, loves outreach. I think in that area, Northeast San Antonio, far Northeast San Antonio, it's kind of known as being a church that's really involved in the community in multiple different ways, which is so cool. And I think that's a testament, obviously, to Pastor David. David's one of those where I'm not just saying this because it gets me easy points. Like I'm saying this because it's genuine. That Pastor David has been there almost 30 years as senior pastor, 33 if you include being student minister for a time. He is one of the most, maybe the most genuine, godly person who treasures Christ more than anything I've ever met. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Amen.
So I think that, oftentimes a church follows after its pastor, even looks like their pastor. Mm-hmm. They love Jesus and they love the Word because David loves Jesus and loves the Word. So I'm honored to be here. I feel, Lauren and I both, we feel, even my wife, who loves me dearly and respects me much, during the interview process, she was like, are they sure they want you after meeting David? I'm kind of being facetious. She just knows me well. We just fell in love with David.
Yeah,
she's like, wow.
Yeah, I'm so glad. And what does that transition look like? So, because I know not every church gets to do it quite as smoothly.
Yes.
But maybe you can map that out for us.
So I am technically senior pastor elect. So it's kind of like the president before, before he becomes the president. Yeah. And so he is still the senior pastor until about November 1st. There's about 11-month transition phase. And so while he is the senior pastor, I'm coming in, I'm learning, getting to know the church, getting to know 1,000 different things going on in the church, getting my head wrapped around how things work and getting to know the people. But he also, at the same time, a lot of times these kind of transitions are difficult. I'm sure being in the pastor world.
Yeah, I've seen.
Like you have a guy that's never been. It's been 30 years since he's not been senior pastor. You know, and he's transitioning out. Can you imagine? Yeah, we can't put ourselves in his shoes. No. And you have a guy that's been a senior pastor for 10 years, suddenly being nothing for a year. But I think it all hinges upon his character. And David, again, I think that's why it works so well, because he defers to me on a lot of things. He wants me to lead. He wants me to make decisions and be comfortable with what's going on. He's just great. I think all of this hinges upon the character and godliness of the existing senior pastor. And so we have 11 months. We work together. I'm not going to lie. I'm getting used to preaching only half the time. Yeah. That's kind of nice. Every other week to have time just to meet with people. Yeah. I have like I don't even know how many meetings this week just with members to get to know them. And
that's so great.
Anyway. So I love it so far. It's great.
So what led you, obviously the request came, you didn't know anything about Universal City?
Yeah, it was kind of an unexpected phone call late June last year. Funny enough, I literally told my wife a month before that. I told Lauren, I don't want the first 2 years at a church again. I literally had told her that. We didn't expect to go anywhere. We were very happy in Arlington. Love our church there. And yet I got this call, and it was a call that was basically like, hey, you're in our top 3 last candidates, and right now you're ranked number 1. This is the first phone call I got.
Wow.
Which is thrilling for me, because I'm like, hey, I got to skip, if this is going to happen, get to skip all the annoying part. That's how it started.
I love it.
And we're grateful to be in San Antonio, even though it was unexpected. At first, I almost just said no and said no, thank you, but we decided to pray about it. That's how it started. So,
oh man, I'm so glad brought you. So maybe just go back for those people first getting a chance to meet you now. We learn about your family. What was your faith journey like? Like, did you grow up in the church?
I did. I grew up in the church. I don't think I really repented and believed upon Christ, believed in Jesus truly until I was 17. It was at a youth camp. Heard Matthew 7. You know that passage. It's to me, it's the scariest passage in the whole Bible. It says, Jesus said, many will say to me on that day, Lord, Lord, and will not enter the kingdom of heaven. And it was at a youth camp in Glorieta, New Mexico. Remember those days?
Yeah.
But he actually, you didn't.
No, I was
you're not
somewhere else. Somewhere else.
I see what you mean. Yeah. So that's where I first heard and understood. Like, okay, I don't even know. The first time I understood Jesus as a substitute was that night.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I grew. I wasn't really discipled till I got to college. Yeah. Met one-on-one with a college minister, just reading the Bible every week for almost 5 years. That's the main reason I'm a pastor today, right there.
So were you called to be a senior pastor? Did you know that was what God was calling you to? Or
yeah, I did a few internships in college at churches, and that really firmed in my heart a desire and a calling to be in the church. And I didn't think or know that I wanted to be a senior pastor. I don't think for sure until I got into ministry full time. And then pretty quickly, maybe it's just because I wanted to do things the way I wanted to do it.
Yeah,
but I had convictions, that it's easier to live out convictions.
If you're leading.
It's part of it. Somebody else. Rather than find somebody that shares those convictions and work on them anyway.
Well, I'm glad I brought you there. Yeah. Some of the lessons you've learned in your ministry that maybe somebody listening could be blessed by.
I think the biggest struggle I've had, at least early in my ministry, is ministry idolatry, like finding my self-worth, my identity too much in being a pastor rather than just being a child of God. That's something I still have to struggle with people pleasing. Like I like to be liked.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
I'm sure we all are like that a little bit, but you know what I mean? Like being really wrapped up in what people think of me. I've grown a lot from that. There's a great book, When People Are Big and God Is Small. Have you heard of that book?
No.
I think it's Ed Welch. I don't remember, but it's a great book talking about people pleasing and getting out of that world. But yeah, ministry idolatry, finding too much of my self-worth instead of just resting and being a child of God.
Wow. Yeah.
I let my identity be too wrapped up in being a pastor. So that's probably the biggest thing I've learned.
Yeah.
And I'm still learning it.
Yeah. What are some of the key things, the book that helped you? Do you remember some of the concepts that it?
The main, Galatians 1:10, are we trying to arouse the jealousy of the Lord? Are we trying to please man or God? I think the main thing was the point of leadership in any size group is making the hard decisions, is being willing to say things and do things that others will be scared to do. That's the main difficulty when it comes to leadership. And if you're waiting for everyone to like you, you will never lead. Like you will never step out. You will never trust the Lord. Waiting. I mean, again, not to say that it doesn't matter at all what people think of you. It's just one of those things. Especially, the church we're in now. We just came. I've never even been a member of a church this size.
Yeah, this is
literally
a
impossible.
Big church. Yeah.
It's literally impossible. It will not be possible for every single person in the church to like everything I do. That's literally not going to happen. And yet the main question is God going to like what you do? Is God leading you? And that's the point of the book, really.
Amen.
But,
same for Pastor Ryan and the same for all of us, right? In our own context, right? Just being in love with God and letting Him lead our way, and an audience of one, right?
That's right.
Beautiful.
That's right.
I know your church has been such a blessing. You mentioned so many different missions ways. What are some of the things that you guys are doing in the community if somebody wanted to participate?
Sure. We have a fun run coming up in a few weeks. That's what we call it.
Oh, man.
Last year it was a color run. It's a 5K. We partner with the city of Universal City, and anyone can do it. I'm not a runner.
Yeah.
I do not like running. It makes no sense to me. You're running in a circle. That makes sense. Anyway, but we're going to take all 4 of our kids and have strollers and walk
you're
it.
Gonna have a blast.
And it'll be fun. If you're anywhere in Northeast San Antonio or near that area, you could participate in that. We have other things coming up, of course. The normal stuff, all Baptist churches, VBS, camps, things like that. But I think mainly pray, because I know this goes to people outside of our immediate area. So pray for. There's a huge need for healthy churches between San Antonio and all the way up to Austin. The growth that's happening.
Yeah.
How many people are moving to this area, and yet there are not enough healthy churches.
Right.
There's just not.
Yeah.
So we need church plants. We need church revitalization to happen. Mainly just pray, because we want to really see that happen and be a part of what God does in that area in the next 5 to 10 years to see that happen.
And I know we mentioned at the beginning that Pastor Lindo, being so healthy himself, embodied the character of Christ.
Annoyingly healthy.
Yeah, to lead forward. But what are
so
some
much
other
energy.
things that you think help, that you've seen in the culture that he created that are portable, that are reproducible in other contexts? I
think he is one of the most genuinely joyful people I've ever met. And that is shown in what he assumes about people around him. He always gives people the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
That is a culture of it goes beyond just grace in Christ. It's grace toward each other. The grace of Christ that we've seen, exhibiting that to the people around us.
I love it.
He exhibits that so well. He also, again, speaking of physical health, I think it's too easy for us to separate physical from the spiritual when we realize God made us body and soul, right? Like this is part of how God made us. Yeah. So taking care of our bodies is not unspiritual. Now, don't be obsessed with it, but that's not an unspiritual thing because God made you as body and soul. That's part of who you are, and He exhibits that well. We have a whole wellness ministry. I'm still wrapping my head around it, what it looks like. Again, there's a lot of stuff going on, but I think that our people follow that. Yeah. So I'm trying to get out walking and jogging every night now. Like, oh man! Again, I do not like running. I do not like running. I'm trying to make sure I hit a certain number of steps each day, that kind of thing.
There you go.
Eating a little better. a little better.
That's good. Hey, you are listening to Church of the Week from AM 630 The Word, also on KSLR.com. We have a great sponsor, Let Us Unite, which is in 2025, Memorial Day weekend. Shout out to Unite SA over there. I am with Pastor Ryan Gilbert from First Baptist Universal City, enjoying our time together, learning about their great ministry over there. So some of the churches that need to be planted up and down the road, any plans on how to help with that? Because you guys, I want to participate the best I can.
It's a great question. Honestly, I'm hoping we develop a revitalization team soon. I don't know what that'll look like yet. Still learning. I know we have our church. It's not new to our church. We planted churches, Impact Church, in Shirts, Alamo
Cameron.
Community Church years ago.
Oh yeah, Kevin
which
Flowers,
which is thriving.
Yeah. You guys
there's
do
other
such a great
examples
job.
too.
Yeah.
So I think all I want to do is lean in on who we already are. But I think a revitalization team. There's a great desire in our church. There's so many churches that are in really strategic spots that don't need someone to come in and take over necessarily. Like I'm not looking to create multiple campuses of our church or anything like that, but to genuinely come alongside and say, how can we help you be who God has called you to be in your neighborhood?
Yeah.
So I don't know what that looks like yet.
Yeah.
I know I would love to develop a revitalization team, and I hope over time we gain by losing. I'm okay with, we need to send people out. We don't need to feel territorial or like, oh no, these are our people. These are our, like, no. I think God will be more glorified in more churches, in more neighborhoods, rather than fewer churches, bigger and fewer, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with big churches, but we just need more churches, period.
Yeah.
There's anyway, that's how I'd answer that.
And I think that's part of the health of the church that you guys have. You're so free to give away, which draws people to want to come. They're going to be healthy themselves in their being, and then they're going to serve it out more in their doing, and be released. And there's not going to be that control there that a lot of smaller ministries, like I know I have felt before, like, oh my God, like that's hard. Yeah. But when you do that, there's like a scarcity kind of mindset, and you're not really launching people. What other challenges have you seen in ministry that, maybe not that you're facing now, because I know everything is in a beautiful spot now, but people that are listening, watching, some other challenges you face and how you've navigated them?
I think probably one of the biggest challenges is consumerism in the church. Like it's so easy, and I'm this way too. We all are as human beings. It's so easy to think, worship, does this worship speak to me? That question. Yeah. And I don't see this in our church, at least yet. I've only been there 5 months, so we'll see. Yeah. The cracks haven't shown yet, Right. Every church has flaws. But I think that's a big problem, especially as pastors we have to face, is this constant temptation to think that it's our job to please the congregation. And that doesn't mean we ignore it, doesn't mean we dismiss concerns, of course, but worship, especially of all things, is not about me. That's why it's called worship. It's not about you. What we can do on Easter Sunday, we had this incredible worship set. Beautiful, awesome. I don't even know how many were in the choir and the orchestra and the kids choir and all that stuff. And it's beautiful. We love that. Praise God. It was such a worshipful experience, but there's nothing less worshipful. There's nothing about that is more worshipful than someone with a guitar leading by himself or piano. Yeah. It's about the one we're worshiping, I think we just have to be very careful not to assume every church needs to look the exact same. That's just a general statement, general concern I have as a pastor and especially as a Christian. But
I love it that you're coming in with that awareness and trying to help our city in that manner. Beautiful. And that probably helps with my next question of adapting to the community, changing culture. Obviously, I love the fact that even though Lindo is, to me, young at heart and young, in health, and could be there for another 10 years, he's passing the baton to a younger pastor. Right. Sure. That's already has a little bit of a mindset of adapting, right, to the culture. Yeah. What other things have you done in ministry prior or now to adapt to the changes in culture?
I think just to paint the other side of it, what I would say is, especially for a pastor coming into an established church, there's always pros and cons about planting for a pastor perspective. Yeah. pros and cons about an established church. You know, it's like, it's just part of it.
Sure.
I think for an established church, just the other side of it, patience is something I've definitely learned. I'm having to navigate. I feel like every church I serve, I've slowly learned that much more what patience actually looks like, and that being patient does not mean compromising. Like to give your people time to adjust to something does not mean you're compromising. That means you're caring for your people. I mean, again, there's a line there. Yeah. We don't need to take 20 years to change one little thing or even 5, but I say as I get older. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah.
David, every time I say that to Pastor David, he's like, you can't say that. But as I get older, I'm slowly learning what patience really looks like. It's part of shepherding for our people. That's what I would say about it. But
yeah, and I think that if it doesn't happen overnight, it's okay, right?
Yeah.
If you're really holding to your convictions and you really feel like it needs to be done, there may be some time and that grace that David
you're right.
taught you.
Yeah, if it's theological or if it's about the gospel or about the Great Commission, of course, those things, can't wait for those things. But other things, we could be patient.
I imagine.
Bear with one another.
And especially coming into such an established church, you were already the senior pastor before, so you were able to lead change probably quickly. But you're probably pretty busy getting comfortable with everybody that's there. What are some things kind of advice you'd give to somebody that's leading in ministry now or even contemplating the call to pastoring?
I would say if you're not already serving in your local church right now, then you may not be called. I would just encourage you. If you think you may want to be a pastor and God may be calling you, get plugged into your church, wherever it is, or jump in, because that's where the testing ground really happens. And that's, even for deacons, that's how we recognize potential deacons is people who are already serving, right? Yeah. We don't look for people, well, he might be willing to serve. No. So I'd say the same with the pastor. Hopefully it's somebody that already loves the church and loves Christ, first and foremost, and his bride. Yeah, serve your church.
Yeah. We're all under shepherds anyway from the great shepherd.
That's right.
So
exactly
even if you think you're going to be the big boss man or something like that, you are probably missing it right there.
Yeah, and we're Baptist, so we're very autonomous. Like, you ain't the boss. You may think you're the boss, but there's a congregation.
That's leading. That's helping for sure. Before we wrap it up, this has been awesome. What exciting things are you looking forward to? Obviously, the exciting thing is just continuing to pass the baton. I mean, that's so exciting to see modeled well. Thank you, Pastor Lindo, for allowing God to lead you through this process and you being so open to it. So I would that be the main thing? Anything else on the horizon?
I'm excited about the Rangers winning the World Series again this
year.
That's totally
separated. What about the Twins?
We don't want to talk
Come
about
on.
I know that has nothing to do with your question, but no, I am really excited. I think what I'll say about San Antonio, you started with this. Let me end with this real quick. San Antonio, I believe, is the major city in Texas that most desperately needs the gospel. There's a lot of Christian presence already, but I think for a major city in Texas, it needs the gospel, maybe more than any other major city in Texas. I love it. And I'm thrilled to be one tiny part of maybe seeing that happen in the future. So that's what I'm excited about.
I'm thankful that you are here and the unity and the love that you bring for our community already.
Sure.
It would be easy for you to sit back and just say, I got to take all this in on our campus, on our church.
I was a mile from the Ranger Stadium, man.
Yeah.
I was
happy.
Now
you're gone.
Now I'm far away.
Anyway, thank God for satellite and DirecTV and MLB
Victory Plus, actually. We're not commissioned.
Oh, man.
Victory Plus is
I'm glad you are here in this city, and your church is such a blessing. So whatever I can do to help, thank you all for listening to AM 630 The Word. This has been Church of the Week with Pastor Ryan Gilbert, First Baptist, Universal City. Definitely go check it out. Listen to this word that we're about to get ready from our sponsor, and God bless you. We appreciate you so much.
Thanks for joining us this week for Church of the Week. Please visit us online at am630theword.com for more information or to listen to previous Church of the Week programs. If you would like to recommend your church be featured on a future program, please email us at churchoftheweek@kslr.com.
Are you longing to see unity in San Antonio? Join us as we pray for a spiritual awakening in our city. Nearly a century ago, thousands gathered at San Pedro Springs Park for a powerful revival that changed lives and brought our community together. Today, Let Us Unite invites you to be part of this legacy. Pray with us for unity, healing, and hope for San Antonio. Visit letasunite.com to learn more, get involved, and add your voice to the movement. That's letasunite.com. Together, let's believe for another move of God in our city.